Now to get the latest, we're joined by police spokesman Mickey Rosenfeld. Good morning. Thanks for being with us here. Got to jump right into the grim news here that the advisors to the government are saying that we've lost control of the virus. From the perspective of police and enforcement, have we?
In terms of the Israeli National Police, absolutely not. We're ready and we're capable of dealing with the ongoing efforts with the public. That is what we're doing, and that's what we'll continue to do based on the government decisions, which are being made all the time, assessments based on the numbers. Of course, the numbers have gone up, and they will probably continue to go up. We know that, both on the grounds as well as in public areas. But I think that the main aim at this moment in time is to try and prevent the hospitals from being filled with thousands of people. And therefore, the situation is under control. In terms of the Israeli National Police, we have enough units that can be mobilized in different areas. But that's the situation as of this morning where we are.
Now, the police, from our reports, and we spoke about this yesterday, are sort of reorganizing to more efficiently enforce these health guidelines, protect the public. But there's an incident over a mask in Holon that got violent on camera here. Why did it get to that, Mickey?
Well, every time the Israeli police are working closely with the public, there are thousands of meetings that take place where we talk and discuss and make sure that people understand the importance of wearing masks. Unfortunately, sometimes things do get out of control and there is tension. We try to explain once, twice, and 3 times, but unfortunately in that specific incident, it got out of hand, and the police at the scene responded as necessary. It's not going to be the last incident that has taken place, but I think we have to look more broadly at what the Israeli National Police are doing.
We'll have to cut in a little, Mickey. We're watching the footage here. I mean, the cops swinging their hands downward on this guy on the ground, allegedly because he didn't put on his mask and didn't comply here. Is that what we're to expect in the public sector now? Is a heavy-handed approach by police on this?
There is a heavy-handed approach, but I think that specific incident, we have to understand, was not in proportion into what is taking place in the general public. We're working closely together with the public. We'll continue to do so. The main efforts are to prevent further incidents, further spread of corona across public places, and based on the new laws and also regulations that will be implemented, police will continue activities to work together with the public, and we hope there won't be one-off incidents as have been shown.
And one more question for you. I mean, are the police preparing for further measures now? Again, that's the discussion across the country now, preparing for potential full lockdowns again?
Absolutely. If necessary, we can implement full lockdowns. I don't think we're at that stage yet. There's still a number of steps and stages which have to be carefully thought into and implemented before we go into a full lockdown. But if we're going to see a continual spike in the numbers reaching thousands, and obviously the hospitals which are going to be filled up slowly but surely, then there has to be serious action which will be taken and implemented by the police.
And in terms of the areas where the outbreak is now flaring up, from what we know, certain parts of Jerusalem, Ashdod, it appears the ultra-Orthodox communities are again seeing a spike. Are you encountering enforcement issues specifically with those communities again?
Yes, as well, of course. Inside all areas where we need to be. We're also emphasizing being inside the Bnei Brak area, Mea Shearim in Jerusalem, and other areas that have been mapped out. We're working closely together with the Ministry of Health to understand which areas. We're moving units into different sections in different parts of the towns as long as necessary, and we're continuing to do so based on the assessments which are being made.
Thank you very much, Mickey Rosenfeld, police spokesman, helping us get a picture of the situation today. Now we go to our correspondent Ariel Levine-Waldman here, who's out in the public here. Is such an important area, again, the beach here, the public sphere. How's it look today, Ariel, as again the numbers just so staggeringly on the rise around the virus?
Well, it looks pretty empty, as if people are taking things at least somewhat seriously. You have to remember the coronavirus cabinet come out the other day and said that they're going to be banning any sorts of gatherings upwards of 50 people. That's the maximum, and recommending that even personal private gatherings cap at 20. And they're planning on meeting yet again today to determine just what the policy with restaurants and bars will be. Now, they're saying that the reason that numbers have exploded over the past month or so was unrestricted public gatherings. You did see people at the beach, people gathering for giant parties, hundreds, thousands of people at protests in close proximity, and they're attributing this for what they are now calling an uncontrolled spread of the coronavirus. Not even calling it a second wave anymore, they're calling it an uncontrolled spread, and they're saying that it's too late to use targeted shutdown measures to actually control this. Now, what they're hoping to do is impose enough measures on large gatherings, which they say are the primary means that the virus spreads through, to avoid it getting worse and to avoid having to go into total lockdown like you saw just a couple of months ago, that being a last resort that could damage the economy irreparably at this point. Remember, the first one led to a 27% peak in unemployment claims. Now, to avoid that, you started seeing a push for more mask laws. You're seeing this push to close down the maximum size on gatherings and so on and so forth. And what you're seeing here is what would normally be dozens of people behind me is a few people playing volleyball. The beaches are largely empty. Now, in part, that is because it is a work day and we are at the middle of work hours on a work day. But even despite that, you would still see the let out from the schools filling up the beaches. Remember, it is still the summer after all. That's not happening. People are walking around really a half and half on whether or not there's masks or not. But the increase in enforcement does seem to have people taking this more seriously than they were before.
Thank you very much. Our correspondent, Ariel Levine-Waldman, there out on the beach in Tel Aviv, giving us a look at, again, how the public is reacting to the growing outbreak.